And now it's the hour we've been waiting for.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, two friends, Tom and Ross, didn't know you two, mate?
Not me, not guilty.
No, okay, sorry, Tom and Ross, a different Ross, in their finest blue speedos, started the swimming group, Blue Balls Cornwall. Tom joins us now this afternoon to discuss the group and the benefits of cold water swimming. Thanks for coming on the show today, Tom.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Now, before we go anywhere, as you can imagine, we've had a little read through of things, and we've saw this pop up, and we've sort of gone, "Hey," you know, as you can imagine. So, been looking forward to this hour. So, we'll keep things professional, of course we will.
Yeah, of course. I'd expect nothing less.
Of course, thank you. Okay, I'm on the spot now, aren't I? Cold water swimming. I must admit, I'm not. I like my swimming. Cold water's not really my sort of thing. Where do you think your passion for it comes from?
I don't know really. I think we started. I personally started just before Christmas last year, and my mum bought me a dry robe actually, and I didn't know if I'd get the benefit out of it. I thought, well, I better go into cold water because they're quite expensive, and if I don't, she'll make me feel bad. So I was sort of guilt tripped into going in, and after going in, just the sort of sense of achievement from going in the cold water. And at Christmas, it is cold. It's not like it is at the moment, where it's lovely and tropical almost. And the sense of achievement and the sort of stress relief from being in the cold water really was a sort of game changer for me. And it's sort of taken off since there.
Fantastic.
And what about, because I was going to ask you, like, there must have been a real story to inspire you to want to do this. And obviously talking on your own behalf and Ross as well, like, what is the real story behind creating this other than just, wanting to get in there at Christmas?
I think obviously the benefits to sort of mental health, or my own personally, and then my friend Ross, who is also the co-founder of a Cornish charity called Man Down, and they offer a sort of environment for gents across the county to talk about their feelings and just life in general, really, and with the ultimate goal of sort of preventing male suicide. So Ross was keen to get involved, and once he sort of felt the benefits as well, it was really just to share that and try and encourage as many men into the water as possible. And we have done that, I think, and it sort of continues to grow. And the feedback we've got from gents who have been in, and it's been really good.
So I actually know Man Down Cornwall. I follow them on Facebook. I have a few friends who have joined, and it is such a wonderful group, like you said. I've got to ask a question here, and I'm not going for the obvious answer that may almost be just a stereotype here, but why do you think that cold water swimming is far more popular among women, and what do we need to do to get more men into the water?
I think there's a stigma with it, and I think men don't really talk about their feelings anyway, and I think and I mean that's a slightly different thing, but I think we didn't want men, we want all shapes and sizes coming in, and I think there's a bit of a stigma with men, and they think it's all perfect physiques and Baywatch bodies, and it's certainly not. So I think that sort of stops men going in, and we wanted to share that it's for everybody, and thankfully we've had all sorts coming in with us, and lots of us are in speedos and some aren't, some come in wetsuits, some come in boardies and stuff, but I think that's a big thing. I think the body should, whatever the word is, I can't think of the correct word, but I think there's a lot of that and anxiety around how you look, and that stops people. But really, we wanted to just encourage people, and certainly myself and Ross haven't got the perfect body, sadly.
You know what? That's something I could definitely relate to. Now, I've been very well known here to make jokes about myself here. I'm an overweight chap, I'm short, and people often say to me, you need to stop doing it yourself. I have no problem with it now. I've grown to this point where I have no issue. I'm trying to lose weight, obviously. If I go to the beach or swimming pool, I still get that little bit of trepidation. Last thing I want to do is take my top off, but eventually I do, and I feel better for myself about it. But I completely get that. And the fact, what you were saying about how there's a huge problem of men not talking about how they're feeling, their mental health, is something that I hear every day myself, and it really infuriates me and frustrates me, because when you do get someone talking, it's so much help just to start talking. And often, a lot of the time, it's that lack of talking that can often lead to some very horrible consequences.
Yeah, I think so. I think the suicide rates are horrific at the moment. And don't get me wrong, we're not. Suicide is shocking across both sexes, but it's 75% of all suicides in the UK are male.
Yeah.
And it's a shocking stat. And I think in Cornwall alone, 2 men a week commit suicide. So yeah, it's really not good. And anything we can do to sort of promote being outside and active, and the release of endorphins and stuff like that, we will do. I think one of the best things for me we did with Man Down is before the lockdown, and it's been quite hard to set it up and do the group swims, because we did it during the pandemic, where when we first started doing it, we had some raised eyebrows, and there was big groups of men on the beach swimming with each other. But we went for a swim in Falmouth, and a friend of mine he would not mind me saying he's a bigger lad, and he's sort of suffered with anxiety himself. And we arranged a group swim, and he was slightly late to the swim, and we were all in the water, and suddenly we looked round, and he was charging down, whipped all his clothes off, and running down the beach, David Hasselhoff style, and just threw himself into the water. And it was just great to see, and the smile on his face going in, and he sort of lost his sort of inhibitions, and it was a real nice moment, and that's what it's all about, really. There's no judging. There's no one saying, oh, he's fat or he's anything or anything. It's just a group of guys just getting in the water and sort of hopefully reaping the benefits from it all.
That's really lovely to hear. Proper lovely.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about
I think so.
It's the community as well, bringing you all together, and it's great that we can talk about obviously the benefits of it on your mental health as well as your physical health. Can you talk us through some of the other sort of benefits of cold water swimming? Yeah,
I mean, I think obviously the sense of achievement that you get from I mean, as much as a mental challenge as it is a physical. Obviously, during the winter it is cold. There's no fogging that up. It's pretty cold, and it's almost the hardest thing. We would go in at 6 a.m. during the sort of depths of winter, and it's dark and you're warm in bed, and the thought of going into a cold sea is not particularly pleasant. And half the battle is getting out of bed and getting in your car and then going in. But the sense of achievement from once you've done that is really good. Obviously, there's the physical benefits. It improves your immune system. It burns calories even. Improves circulation. And there is obviously the mental health aspects as well. So it relieves stress, anxiety, depression. It's really good for sort of mindfulness, which we try and practice as much as we can. And when you're in that cold water, you haven't really got much option to think about anything else, because it's so cold. It's sort of, you're just there and in the environment you're in, and it sort of heightens all your awareness of that, and it's a nice feeling.
Absolutely, I can't disagree with that. I can't agree with that more. Sorry, I've not ever done anything quite so much in the middle of winter or in the morning, but when I have gone into I have done some cold water swimming before in the past, and it's that trepidation. Once you've got in, you get out. I know what you mean, that sense of achievement. It feels so good. I don't know, but you almost feel tingly and feel so awake and so, I don't know, so with it. I can't really explain it, but it's so fantastic. Could I bring things now to Blue Balls Cornwall? How often do you guys meet?
Well, when we started this, we were going in 2 or 3 times a week, and which was great. Ross was he runs a hairdressing business, so he had a lot of free time, so he could do that. And then obviously we've had summer, and I'm not going to lie, we haven't been in as much over summer. Obviously the beaches are busier, which makes the things a bit trickier. And it's also obviously the water's a lot warmer. So as lovely as it is to go in for a swim, and we've been in for a couple recently, and to be honest, the water is as warm as it's going to be in September. So you can stay in for a lot longer. But I can speak for myself personally. I haven't because it's not as cold. It's not much of a challenge, or as much of a challenge going in. And you don't sort of have to push yourself out your comfort zone, because it's actually refreshing going in when it's the heat of August. but we're in the process of now, we're sort of hopefully through the worst of the pandemic, arranging some big group swims again. We think we're going to try and do them monthly in different locations around Cornwall, and try and get as many guys as possible to come and join us.
That would be great. And obviously, looking on your social medias, you guys have obviously seen some amazing views and sights, especially when you say you've been going out sort of early in the morning. I bet that's amazing. Where is it you guys tend to swim? Do you stick to a particular pace or just move around?
Yeah, generally we swim from Low Beach quite a lot, which is quite close. We both live in Truro, so that's nice and easy to get to. Falmouth. I go to lots of tidal pools around all over the coast, because that's sort of something I quite like doing. It's quite nice to be in the stillness of the pool and the wildness of the sea crashing against it. So I guess that's a bit sort of similar metaphor to your head and things sometimes. But yeah, Falmouth and Low Beach really is our main place. Perranporth also, we've done some nice group swims in the sunset.
We're so lucky to have so many amazing beaches and swim spots, obviously, around Cornwall. I must admit, I have like Gillen Vase Beach in Falmouth as well myself. But like we mentioned before, Cornwall has some of the highest suicide rates in the country, which is appalling for anywhere. What advice would you have for anyone who's currently struggling with their mental health in the county?
Reach out and talk about it. It's not like I say, there is a stigma around it, but I think if you're struggling yourself, then it's important to talk to friends. And if you don't feel like you can do that, then there's lots of groups. There's obviously Man Down. For gentlemen, there's a group called George's Voice, who support females. And I think if you're a person and you're concerned about a friend, then also ask them about it. Again, I think it's a taboo subject, and there's lots of thoughts that you shouldn't really. What if you ask someone if they're thinking about it and they haven't been, and then they do it because they hadn't thought about it before? But I think once that conversation is opened up, it leads to lots of other conversations. And I think it's the worst thing you can do is. Personally, I'd for years bottled up feelings and emotions, and was the stereotypical man that didn't have all of that rubbish. And actually, once you do start acknowledging feelings and stuff, it changes your life really.
Such a great outlook. I really like that.
Couldn't agree more either.
And Tom, what would you say since you've sort of started running the group? Have you learned anything about yourself?
It's been a really humbling experience. I didn't really when we thought about it in sort of January this year, I wondered what would happen and whether it would not what the point was, but whether people would sort of take to it or not. But really, the feedback we've had and the amount of interest we've had, and the guys that have been in the water, and not only with us, we've had people dotted around all over the country that have sort of jumped in and tagged us in their stories and what have you. So it's been really humbling, and I think people have been very thankful to us, but we aren't really doing anything. We're just sharing something we love and we feel a benefit, and that's what we wanted to share, and sort of long may that continue.
Perfect. I believe we've now got some photos of you and the group now. If we have a quick look at these, could you let us know where they were taken, what's going on in them?
Yeah, that was. I think that's Gilly Beach actually.
Looks like it. Yeah.
That's one of our first swims, I think, and that's before we had our uniform. Are you still there?
Yeah, we're here. Sorry, we're looking as well.
That was me. Yeah, that was before we started to go for the blue speedos.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's myself and Ross. That's Perranporth.
Wow. Beautiful.
And that was a sunset swim we did. And actually, that was just a random person took that photo of us. Wow. And we when we walked back out the water, he said, "Oh, I've taken these. Would you mind if I sent them over?" And
lovely.
2 or 3 left. But it's a really, it's a good shot. It's lovely. It's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
That's my Tom Daly effort from. That is down near Flushing, just off the quay there. And that was just a really beautiful still day, and I'm not going to lie, that wasn't the first take.
Fair enough.
Doing it very well.
Yeah, that's version 2 really of me and Ross in the speedos, again down in Gilly, I don't know what else you can say about that.
It looks, the photos are absolutely fantastic, and it really, it's nice to see the smiling face as well. It kind of shows what's, everything's helping.
What we do is when we go in a group swim, we sort of put a video on the beach and just run in, and everyone gets in, and we generally put them on our Instagram stories, and a couple of them are only stills from that, so the quality is not quite great, but I think people get the general feel of what we're doing and what we're about.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to bring things back to be a little lighter now. I couldn't let you go without asking, where can our producer, Henry, get his hand on a pair of those blue Speedos? You say uniform. I'm thinking maybe office uniform here in the studio.
I mean, at least we're under the desk, so we can have a bit of dignity. But
yeah, I've actually got them on now.
Well played.
I think we're actually toying with the idea of bringing some branded Blue Balls Cornwall Speedos out.
Perfect.
And again, not everyone will want to wear them, because people are still sort of body conscious and stuff, and that's fine. But yeah, if we could get everybody in, and then we'll keep an eye on our social media pages for that. But otherwise, you can just get them from any popular swimwear site, I imagine.
Fantastic. Tom, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, obviously about something sensitive as well, really important stuff, and it's amazing to see a group like yours supporting mental health in Cornwall, like there are thankfully others popping up as well, like we've mentioned Mandown, and yourself. It's really good. It's something I'm always trying to talk to other people about myself. Like you said, mental health needs to be talked about more, and there is quite a highlight on men's side of things without discounting female at all. But yeah, it's amazing to see what the stuff you're doing, and thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much for having us, and you'll have to come out with us one time.
You know what? I knew it was coming, and now, I looked to my left. I could see the gallery. There's already a nodding of some heads going. I could see camera crews coming. I'll be in the speed. You know what? Watch this space. Something's going to clearly happen now, isn't it? You said this.
You know what? To be fair, I think probably about 2 years ago now, but I don't know, why is it always Christmas that people do tend to go out? But my family all met on the beach Christmas Day. We're talking family, cousins, the whole lot of us.
Yeah.
And that was the plan, all run into the water, strip off in the water, because I was on the beach buggy, so I was like the clothes horse. So I stayed on land. I had everybody's clothes, and I was basically cameraman, so I got away with it.
So you were cameraman and kept warm under everyone else's clothes?
Yeah, I got the best deal, but they all went for it, and they loved it, and I just think it's such a great thing to do, mentally, physically.
I think you do get a lot of people. I think there's lots of Christmas Day and Boxing Day beach swims when people will. So we'll try and get involved with them this year. And like you said, we'll probably get our Christmas hats on. We won't be getting them on in September like you guys maybe. But
No, I completely agree with you there. It's too early. Too early. Don't get me started. Get me started.
Get it on.
I'm going for the heroes. I think I'm going for the heroes. By the way, gents. I think
yes.
The ones with the cream egg ones, I think that's my favourite. I think they're the heroes.
I hadn't thought about the cream eggs.
Shout. See, I'm not a cream egg fan. But
I love them. They changed the recipe, didn't they? But they're all right now. I think they're all right.
They'll do the job. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. Absolutely brilliant to chat with you. I'd be lovely to have you on the show again in the future.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll get Ross on as well next time. And
fantastic.
Yeah, keep an eye out on the Instagram page for updates and group swims and what have you.
Will do. Thank you very much, Tom. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.
What a top chap.
Love that.
What a top chap. Absolute legend.
So the Speedos are coming out then.
Right, we're going to move on to some music now. We're back with you after these. Cheers, guys. Bye.